Happy Wednesday and welcome to Stampin' Peace with Mary Nabe. I'm happy to see so many of you on live with me tonight, January 5th. And I'm sure even more people will be watching on replay. Lynn is back too, another team member. So they might be getting a little too much of me today, but that's okay. Going from our team Facebook Live to this one. A couple of reminders, and suddenly I don't know where my low baskets are. Oh, here it is. Sorry about that. Okay, you see me in my big balloon pants. I have to tell you about these pants. I got them at the Gap. I was Christmas shopping last month, and you know how it is, you buy something for yourself. I tried these on at Gap, and they're like sweater material, and they are the softest material ever. And I bought what I thought was my size. Well, they just stretch and stretch and stretch, so I call them my balloon pants. But I'm telling you, they are so comfortable. I have tried to wash them in hot water and dry them on high heat. Nope, they're still big. I mean, I probably should have bought a size 2 smaller than I usually wear just because of the type of fabric it is, but they're super, super comfy. So enough of that. But if you were like, Mary, your pants are huge, I wanted to say something. All right, so for the month of January, I've already announced my first class to go, which is Sweet Talk, featuring the Sweet Conversations bundle. And with that, you'll make 8 cards, 2 each of 4 different designs. One of them is a fun fold, and one of them is a pocket card. And I'm going to give you a sneak peek of one right now. But it's lots of fun. And it also comes with a pack of the new iridescent rhinestones, which are fabulous. But information about that was sent out via email. If you're not on my newsletter, you can just let me know you want to be added by messaging me or emailing me, contacting me, however you'd like. And registration is open now through January 11th for the Sweet Talk class to go, okay? All of that information is on my blog today, stampinpeace.com. Very easy to find. I also have announced my January online class, and this one uses the Memories and More, Heart and Home Memories and More card pack. You'll get a full pack. You'll get a full package of the coordinating envelopes and note cards. And you will get, where are they? The brand new, and I love these. I think these are my favorite new embellishment, the brushed brass butterflies and a bolt of the pale papaya ribbon. I want to mention these brass butterflies, you can even see they're so thin. They do not add any bulk to your cards, but we're going to have a great night of fun and card making on January 31st using the Heart and Home Memories and More products and those that I showed you just now. You'll make 20 cards together with me and a group of other crafters. For this, you do need to register by January 14th, okay? So for this online class, which takes place January 31st via Zoom, it will last no more than 2 hours. We'll make 20 cards. You'll see some other alternate project ideas using leftover pieces from your kit that you may choose to make. But the deadline to register for that is January 14th. It includes, it's $52 and includes those 4 products that I showed you. All of the information for that online class, as well as the Sweet Talk class to go, is on my blog today, stampinpeace.com. So I hope you'll check that out. I hope that you will register for one or both of those. The PDF tutorial is also an option. And I also have another option where you can buy the card supplies for the Sweet Talk class if you already have the bundle, or if you're a demonstrator and you want to buy that part of it with your demonstrator order. So lots of options for the class to go, and then the online class is $52. Now let's get to the good stuff. As you know, our January-June mini catalog went live on Tuesday. People are so excited about what they're seeing. And I get excited hearing what other people what excites other people from the catalog. In addition, we have Sale-A-Bration happening, and we have all this information can be found on marynabe.stampinup.net, my Stampin' Up online store. We have special incentives for people who shop. When they purchase $50 or $100 of product, they can choose a free item from our Sale-A-Bration brochure. We have a deal for people who either purchase $300 of product or they host a party with sales totaling $300 or more, and they will get free the Calming Camellia stamp set, in addition to all the other Stampin' rewards that they would normally get for their party. But here's a picture of it. I don't have mine just yet. It will be arriving tomorrow, but it looks beautiful, looks absolutely gorgeous, and I love the sentiments in it as well. And then of course we have a joining promotion. Our starter kit is always a great value, $125 of product that you choose, and you pay just $99 plus sales tax, and it all ships free. But now during Sale-A-Bration through February 28th, sorry, something just popped up on my phone. I wanted to get that out of the way. But now through February 28th, you can choose 2 free stamp sets in addition to that $125 of product, and you still pay just $99 plus sales tax, and it all ships free. You can choose for those extra 2 freebies. You can choose any stamp set in the annual catalog or any stamp set in the mini catalog, the new mini catalog. The only ones you can't choose are Sale-A-Bration ones and host sets. Okay, so it's a fabulous deal. And I would love to have you join my team. There's several of my team members on watching now. I think I saw Tracy, Beth is there, Lynn is there. I believe I saw Mary Lou Rolfus as well. Lots of team members. Many of them have been with me for a very long time, and I continue to grow my team across the country. We welcome everybody of any stamping experience, from brand new to been around the block years and years and years. You can simply enjoy the discount and the other perks that come with being on my team, or you can decide to build a business, big or small, or anything in between. I would love to have you. So please let me know if you're interested. And one thing that many people don't realize is that you can host a Stampin' Up! Party, and you can use your Stampin' rewards to purchase your starter kit, which I do have a few people on my team that have done that. Cecilia and Susan have been on my team for a number of years, and that's how they joined. They first had a Stampin' Up! Party, and then they chose to use their rewards to purchase the starter kit, which is another awesome deal. So who's ready to do some stamping and crafting? Over the next few weeks, I'm going to be sharing lots of inspiration using the Sale-A-Bration products, and then I will make some suggestions for purchases that you can use to get those Sale-A-Bration products. Tonight, I'm going to feature driving by, and I'm pulling in a couple of new products from the mini catalog as well. We're going to make 3 cards. You'll want to stay till the very end because I will be giving away all 3 cards tonight. I'm going to flip my camera around now to my workspace. While I'm doing that, please do share this live video and invite others to join in the creative process with us. Okay, so here is the Driving By stamp set that I'm featuring tonight, and I'll just show you in here so you can refer to it as you need to. It's on page number 7 of our Sale-A-Bration brochure, and this is something that you can get free with any $50 order before shipping and tax from now through the end of February. But why wait? Because I'm going to show you some fun things to do with it tonight. In addition to that, I also want to show you a brand new project. When I purchased this, I purchased it out of curiosity. I was a little bit intrigued by it, but I honestly did not know how I would use it. It's called the Vellum Layering Designs. And in here are 12 sheets. And there's this, what would you say, script. There is a map. And then there is this newsprint. And all of these designs come in black print on vellum as well as white print on vellum. So you get a good amount. It's really fun. But I have come up with some ways to use that vellum in tonight's cards with the Driving By stamp set. So for the first one, I'm using a black card base. I've pre-cut a piece of the layering vellum to measure 5.5, I believe, by 3 inches. Let me double check that. Yes, 5.5 by 3. And I have a piece of basic white for the inside because we always want a neutral or light colored cardstock inside to write on. And I've got several other pieces here. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the card. So this is the card. Simple but cute, right? Simple but effective, okay? The first thing I'm going to do is add the vellum. One thing I want to point out to you is you can use either side of the vellum, but there really is a right side and a wrong side when it's printed. The right side, the print will be more bold. If you flip it over, the print becomes more subtle. So I want to use that more bold side up. The other thing I want to mention to you is when I adhere my vellum, many adhesives will show through vellum. So I like to place my adhesive somewhere where it's going to be hidden so that there's no chance of it showing through. And as you can see on the card I designed, that gives me a lot of space to put my adhesive where it will be hidden. So it doesn't even have to be real specific. And I will say for the most part, even though you don't use up a lot of adhesive with your vellum, for the most part, it just kind of clings to, as long as you have some adhesive, the rest just kind of clings to it. And you know what? If it lifts off the cardstock a little bit, that's fine. That's really a-okay. Now I'm going to do some stamping on basic white. This measures, let me do it this way, 2 1/4 by 3.5 inches. When I post this video replay to my blog with photos of the pictures, I will include all of the dimensions. They'll all be typed out for you, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is stamp with Momento ink. And I'm stamping this kind of to the left side a bit. And the reason I chose Momento ink is because I am going to be using some Stampin Blends. Now you can use Stampin Blends, you can watercolor, you can do all kinds of things. You can do anything you want. I'm going to lower this a little bit. You can do anything you want to color this. We have lots of good choices. Okay, I think that's a little better. But I'm going to go ahead and choose some real red. Make sure I have the right ones, because yes. You don't have to be super precise. It's going to turn out great. I promise you. No matter what you do, it's going to turn out great. I chose red because when I was growing up, our next door neighbors had a Volkswagen van that was red and white. I think Mrs. Monroe loved driving her kids to school in that van. I still remember when they got it. It didn't quite fit in their garage. It was a little too high. So they shaved off a little bit edge of their cement so it could go in without there being any problem. And then I'm using light basic black. Seems strange to say light black. But as you know, each of our Stampin' Blends comes in pairs. You get a light shade and a dark shade of the same color. And then I thought I pulled out, what is this? Smoky Slate. I'm not seeing it here. There we go. Okay. And then I'm just going to add some Smoky Slate. This will be kind of like the metal of the car. And I'm also going to color the top with that as well in the light shade only. So even if coloring isn't your favorite thing to do, please don't change your mind on this stamp set, because as you can see, I can color this really quickly and easily. Oops, it's not really the one I wanted. I wanted that lighter one. And there it is. Now, if you want a little bit of color underneath, just pick one of your grays or browns. Mine's off-roading, I guess, because it's on brown dirt. And now I'm going to mount this. I said, what did I say? 2 1/4 by 3.5 inches, I think. Yes. So then I went an 1/8 inch larger here. So 2 5/8 by, no, 2 3/8 by 3 5/8. And again, all of the dimensions will be on my blog post. Kathleen is saying her mom traveled from New York to Texas in a yellow VW van with 5 kids in tow, an adventure of a lifetime. I bet that was an adventure. I wonder if your mom thinks the same, that it's an adventure. But I'm sure it's a fabulous memory for the family. Amazing. All right, and now I'm simply going to add a sentiment here. And again, I'll stamp with Momento ink. I'm going to say driving by just to say hi. Nope, not quite straight. Let me try again. Now, I could cut this off and oops, I'm not even in the screen. The rectangle would be just fine, but instead, I'm going to use the rectangle postage punch, and I'm going to clip it this way. It doesn't have to be the same the width to get that postage edge all the way around. It works fine to just have it on the left and the right. Makes it kind of decorative without it being too much. And then before I adhere that to my card front, okay, I went the wrong direction. That's why I'm getting out of your viewing area. Sorry about that. I'm a little discombobulated today. Okay. I'm going to then add some ribbon behind it. This is our Real Red faux linen ribbon in that new catalog, that new mini. And I just cut each of the ends at an angle, folded it over. I don't even measure, just need a little bit. And I'll adhere, whoops, which is my front and back? That's the back. I'm just going to adhere it to the back side, leaving those ends sticking out a little bit. And now I'm going to add it to my card front with dimensionals. You can see I've nearly used up this sheet of dimensionals, but I always cut the edges into little pieces because I don't want to waste any of that. I go through enough dimensionals as it is, and I want to make sure I get my money's worth by using every last bit. And then I'm just going to add it, I'm going to scoot it down a little, add it to my card front like that. Quick and easy, cute, fun card. All right, let's do another. This time I'm using Pacific Point as my main color. And I want to send a card that says, "You've got style." And of course you could change the sentiment, and this would be so great for birthdays, any kind of celebration. I caught you there, yes, Kathleen, about putting the lid on my ink pad. Yes, I've known to put my arm in it a time or two. So let's go ahead and do this now. This time, on the last card, I used the map print vellum with the black print, and this time I'm using it, the one that has the white print. And I'm going to put this a little bit lower on my card front instead of across the middle. I've got a piece of basic white for the inside. You all do that, right? Put a white or light color on the inside of your cards to make it easier to write and for the person receiving it to read your message. And then, oops, where's my other piece? Well, I don't know. I'll have to cut it. I'm not sure where it went. Maybe in the wrong envelope. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this convertible in Momento ink. And this time, and again, I told you you could use any different coloring tool, correct? We don't have Stampin' Blends in the Pacific Point color. So what I'm going to do instead is do a tiny bit of watercoloring. And I'm going to show you just how easy this is. Let me scoot things over a bit. Here's an easy thing, because with watercolor, you really just need a tiny bit of ink. So stick a clear block into your ink pad, and then I'm just going to squeeze out a little bit of the water from my aqua painter and mix it like that. And then I'm just going to quickly fill in the convertible this way. Now, StazOn is a good ink for using when you're watercoloring, but since I'm just doing a little bit of watercoloring, I just stuck to the same Momento ink pad. Got that part a little darker than I wanted. And just like that, it's done. And I will clean this out later, but the way to clean this out is go back and forth with it over a piece of scrap paper, and also just to squeeze out some water. I'm doing it over my chamois over here. Squeeze out some water, and that helps take the ink out of the brush as well. Now I can finish up the rest of this with my Stampin' Blends. So I'm going to color in the wheels. There's a story to why I chose Pacific Point for this particular vehicle. I had a friend many years ago who I met at a craft show. I was very new in my Stampin' Piece business, and she made a purchase from me at a craft show, and I invited her to a holiday open house I was having, obviously Stampin' Up related, but I invited her to attend that, and she did come. I was so grateful because we had just met the week before at this craft show. We became instant friends. And Star is, she just was an incredible lady. Unfortunately, she died unexpectedly a few years after I got to know her, but she was a 7-year ovarian cancer survivor. Her, when she was diagnosed, which was before I knew her, she was given a very, very small percentage of surviving. Well, she beat the odds, but one thing she did is every once in a while in the summer, she would drive up to my house in this cute little bright blue convertible. And what she had told me when I asked her about it was when she was going through her treatments for ovarian cancer, had 3 young boys in school, and she said she bought a Volkswagen convertible and completely restored it. Every part of it, interior, everything. And this was her project that she worked on while she was going through treatments to keep herself motivated and keep herself focused on something other than just being sick. And one of her sons in particular helped her out with that. So really fun story. I miss Star dearly. Some of you on here may know her, but just an incredible lady. And so I can't make one of these without using her. I wish I'd used the darker. Let me put the darker daffodil on there. I think we need it brighter. Yes, that's better. So I couldn't make this cute little convertible without making it blue in honor of my friend Star. And again, we might add a little something along the bottom, just so it doesn't look like it's floating in air. You could even do some shading of sky and different things like that. So now I will mount this onto, where's my, here it is. I'm going to mount this right onto a layer of Pacific Point. And I honestly don't know what happened to the other piece of white, so we're just going to stick it on just like this. I could cut another, but I have another card to show you. And I think of that saying, you've got style. You know, Star really did have style. She was just very down to earth, but her style was just to always be positive and I don't know. Oh, I don't like it without that other layer of white. What about you guys? I don't like it without the other layer of white. I'm going to have to cut that. I keep looking on the floor. Did I drop it? What happened to it? 2 3/4 by 3 1/2. Again, all of the measurements will be on my blog when I post this video. What did I say? 2 3/4 by 3 1/2. It'll look so much better with this extra layer behind it. Isn't it funny how just something like that, a simple layer of cardstock, one more layer than we might normally go for, makes such a big difference? Oh yes, much better. And as you can see, I layered the small white onto the blue, then I did dimensionals, and then flat. The white flat against the card front. Oh, this is not. Do you ever have a day like this? I'm like, this is not centered evenly. Did you notice that, or was it just me noticing? So let me pick it up and try again, because that will bother me. I don't want to send that to anybody if it's a little crooked or not centered correctly. Now, I might have gotten it too much. I don't know. All right, so let's add our sentiment. When I made the sample, I stamped this in black, but as I'm looking at it now, I'm thinking, why didn't I stamp that in Pacific Point? I think it would look so much better that way. So let me grab one of my scraps. Oh yeah, I like it in blue better, but I'm going to try stamp it a little straighter this time. That's better. And once again, I'm going to use the rectangle postage stamp punch. Need to trim this end a wee bit because it's not letting me go in quite as far as I want. That's better. So this is just a fun, different way to use the postage stamp punch, and you can even do this with many others. A lot of times I do this technique of stamping and punching with my everyday label punch, and I always love how it turns out. The other thing I'm going to do is pop up the sentiment. I didn't do that on my sample, but I want to do it here. Oh, Beth, you remember Star. She did have style, didn't she? one of the sweetest people you will ever know, was into all kinds of crafting. I mean, all kinds. She also was an incredible baker. She made these awesome cupcakes. Not only did they look beautiful, they tasted marvelous. And I'm not talking the icing was great, or the cake was great, or the filling was great. All of it was great. And for several years before she passed, I hired her to bake cupcakes based on a theme or whatever for my Stampin' Up! Open houses. So really cool, lots of fun. I'm so glad you remember her, Beth. How could we not, right? Okay, let's do one more. Now, who remembers Punch Buggy? Anybody? Do you remember that? Did your kids play that? When you're driving along and they would see a Volkswagen Beetle, they would kind of give a punch and say Punch Buggy. My kids played that for the longest time. I don't know where that ever started. I never heard that till I had kids. Okay, I'm going to let you tell me on this one. Do you like the white, the vellum with the white print, or do you like it better with the dark print? What do you think? Do you have a preference? Oh, Slug Bug. I remember that too. Same thing. Yep. Slug Bug and Punch Buggy, right? Buggy. Yes. What do you think with the white print vellum? Joan says dark. Let's go with dark then. So I want to cut this to the same width as my card front. It's currently 6 inches by 3 inches. So I'm cutting it down to 5.5. That piece of cardstock I couldn't find, right there it is. I don't know how that happened. Oh well. I'm sure that's happened to you a time or two, right? And even if it hasn't, just tell me it has. Oops, I want to check which is the front and which is the back. Yes, I was correct. Again, I'm applying the adhesive where it will be hidden by that focal point of my card. So I have a piece of scrap paper and I'm going, I want to use my black Momento ink. You know, honestly, it shows better. Jennifer, I understand what you're saying. Honestly, the black print on vellum does show better. It might show better in person, but it still is much more subtle than the black would be, even in person. So I will ink this up with my black Momento ink. I love this Momento ink. It definitely, I still have stays on, but I almost never use it. This is my go-to black. Now I'm going to let this dry a minute, but I also have this, and I want to, let's see, I need a piece of scrap paper here. So I dig that out of my trash. But I also want to stamp just the packages on a separate piece, and I'll show you why in a moment, of course. And also on this, I'm going to stamp the sentiment at the same time. Aw, thanks. I had a birthday last month, plus with the holidays, I've got thank you notes that I still need to get out. But I thought this would be a fun thank you note to send for a birthday gift I received. How many of you save up all those scraps? I hope you save scraps and use them as much as you can. All right, so now let's color. I'm using Granny Apple Green for my punch buggy, or my slug bug, as some of you may call it. I'll have to ask my kids if they remember that. I'm sure they do. And then we had to make a rule. You can't punch too hard. Had to be a soft punch. Because you know there's always somebody who wants to really give it to them. When I use Stampin' Blends, it's my preference to use the darker shade first and then fill in with the lighter shade. There's not really a right or wrong way. That's just what I found works best for me. And then if I have areas where I feel like I still need a little more dimension or a little more shading, I can go back in with that dark shade. And where are my others here? This is dark smoky slate. I want to show you the difference between the dark smoky slate and the light black. Okay, you can see it here. Just a little bit different look with the lighter shade. Oh, I think I should have colored this other part with the Granny Apple Green. Alrighty, and add a little bit shading underneath. You could even go around the vehicle and stuff as a little, like a shadow. You can add some shading of the sky, maybe balmy blue or pool party, with your blending brush or an sponge dauber. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that little piece with just the present stamped. So I'm using a circle. I believe, I'll have to double check, but I believe it's the third largest in the layering circle dies. And again, that information will be on my blog when I post this in the next day or two to stampinpiece.com. Whoops, moved a little bit. That's all ready to go. You might even color in, like in the windows too. If you do the shading for the sky, you could also fill in the windows a little bit with that same color, because obviously we see through the windows. And now I wanted to do this piece before I adhere these to my card front. So I'm just going to do a little coloring. This is that super bright and vibrant Magenta Madness. I'll color the present on top, and then the third present down is going to be multicolored. Filling in the other stripes with pumpkin pie. And then I will use Daffodil. It's the dark shade. This is the light shade. I think I'm going to fill that in with the darker shade. Looks a little more bold. And then the last present I colored with Balmy Blue, dark shade. And now I'm simply going to use my paper snips to cut out these little presents, and then I will pop them up on my little punch buggy. So this is a fun way to just add a little bit, come on, a little bit more interest to your card by spotlighting a small part, like I am here with stamping it on a separate piece of cardstock and coloring and cutting it out. That bow's going to take a little effort, so look what I'm going to do. I'm just going to cut it off. I'm not going to try to cut around all those teeny tiny little loops, because when I put it here, you're still going to see those. So make it easy. Don't be stressing yourself out about that teeny tiny detail, because it'll look just as good this way. Of course, I'll use a dimensional, mini dimensional, to add this. And I'm going to add it to my card front by popping up that circle. Oh, Christine, I see you say you just placed an order for things you want to have at the Creative Escape weekend. Beth, Christine, there's a few others on here. Mary Lou, that will be attending my Creative Escape weekend in January 14th, next week from Friday. Had to think, when is that? It's coming up on me fast. But I'm actually in really good shape. I have a lot of it already. The participants will receive a goodie bag of some Stampin' Up product, and then I designed some make and takes for them that they can make using those products. So it's always lots of fun, and it's a part that I really enjoy in terms of the planning and everything. Oh, I need a white insert. Don't let me forget that. Here's a tip too. Now, I typically put my white inserts in, adhere them right away. Obviously, if you know for sure you're going to stamp inside them, you'll want to stamp first and then adhere. However, I know sometimes people will make a card and maybe they don't have a sentiment on the front. Or maybe they're not sure how they're going to use it. Maybe they don't even put this on there, or they put this on, but it could be a congratulations, you're graduating, or you got a new job and you're moving, or a birthday, whatever. If you don't know how you're going to use your card, and I learned this from one of my team members, I think it was Kiki Niklos, she will just insert this and not adhere it. And then she's in her stash of cards when she's ready to pull it out. She's got the white cardstock ready and it's already cut to size, and all she has to do is stamp her greeting, write her note, and stick it in. So a little tip that way. All right, so What are your thoughts now on the Driving By Celebration stamp set and the cards made tonight? What do you think? Is this a stamp set you're interested in getting with a $50 purchase? Lynn does the same thing, just puts that piece of cardstock on the inside until she's ready to use it. Awesome. Jean says she just got an order. Very cute. Hi, Deb and Joan. Jean, there's lots of people on that I didn't get a chance to say hello to earlier. I'm glad you're all here. I hope you love the cards. Now I want to show you some ways that you can put together. You might already have an idea of $50 order that you could use to get this. But if you like these cards and want to get this Driving By stamp set, I'm going to give you an idea of how you can reach that $50 sale. The Vellum Layering Designs paper, that printed vellum, is $10 for the pack. Okay. Now I've used these 4 colors of cardstock. Each of these is $8.75 if you don't have the colors. You can also purchase an assorted pack by family color. So the brights, neutrals, regals, and subtles. Many people like to do that. The only thing with that is you only get 2 sheets of each color, but that's another way to go. So with this, I might add the ribbon that we used. This is, let me think here, $7.50. I could add a package of envelopes. And right now with this, I have $51.50 of product. Now you might switch some of these out. You might say, well, Mary, I have all those cardstock colors. Well, then you can start adding in Stampin Blends. Stampin Blends are $9 per pair. And you can see I use several different colors throughout. You also might choose to add in another embellishment. Maybe you really like the classic matte dots. This is part of the, what is it? Blessings of Home, I think, or Heart and Home. Maybe that's it, Heart and Home suite in the new mini catalog. This might be a great embellishment or some other embellishment. So there are so many different ways that you can look at a group of cards or some sort of project and come up with enough product to reach $50. Many people use Sale-A-Bration as a time to kind of build up their inventory. I know one person in particular, each Sale-A-Bration would come around, and the one time she was building up her inventory of cardstock. The next year she was building up her inventory of ink pads. Some people like to get the tools, like the expensive tools, maybe a nice paper cutter, the Stamparatus, the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, or the big Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, because then they get even more Sale-A-Bration products. So there's, any combination of products that you can come up with. But I thought since I made these 3 cards, I would show you basically what I used. You might choose Momento ink pad as part of that $50 purchase. So there's lots and lots of ways you can go. But I'm so glad you joined me tonight, and I hope you like all of the cards I showed you. I hope you like the layering vellum, which is just fun and new. It's a great price point, but it just adds some fun interest to your cards. All right, do you have any questions for me? If you would like to win one of these 3 cards, I just do a random drawing. I'm going to ask you to type in the comments, driving by. Okay, driving by. And then I will choose 3 names from the group of people that typed driving by in the comments. Elizabeth says they're all cute. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I'm glad you were here. I'm going to scroll back and make sure I didn't miss any questions. Sharon says she ordered that one. Awesome. Jan says she likes the set because it's different than flowers. Yes, I love flowers, but you're right. Sometimes I need to step out of that comfort zone and do some other things. And I'm going to be honest and tell you, when I looked through the Sale-A-Bration brochure, some of the products kind of stumped me. Like, sometimes I'll see something and I think, oh, I have to have that. An idea is always already running through my head, that sort of thing. But there were a few items in the Sale-A-Bration brochure that I kind of was like, oh, what am I going to do with it? And you know what? I start playing with them and I love it. Like this, I really wanted this just because it reminded me of my friend's star. And then I looked at and I thought, well, is that enough reason to, choose this set? And then I started thinking about Mrs. Monroe driving the kids to school in her red Volkswagen van. And then I have a friend who, we taught together many years ago, 30 years ago. And she drove a dark green punch buggy that was her dad's. And then after I married and left that area, it had passed down to her son. And that made me think of Alice as well. So, whatever inspires you. But like I said, I kind of looked at this as a challenge and I thought, oh, what am I going to do? And I looked at that vellum as a paper. It intrigued me. I was curious, so I bought it. But again, I didn't know how I was going to use it when I bought it. And usually I have an idea of how I'm going to use the products because, they're all an investment. But I'm really happy with the way they turned out and the way I was able to use the vellum. All right, everybody, happy Wednesday. Thanks for spending part of your evening with me. It always makes me happy, and I feel very blessed to be able to do this job that I love so much and to have such a great following of people. I look forward to seeing you on Friday at 2 p.m. for another Facebook Live. I've got several projects behind me in the works, so I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do on Friday, but it's going to be great nonetheless. I look forward to seeing you then. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Oh, Cindy, listen to you. You make me happy. Thank you. It's your birthday. Happy birthday, my friend. And you're in the tub soaking bubbles. That is one of my favorite things to do. I usually end my night with, end my day with a soak in the tub. So I completely get that. And of course, in my family, Emily and Andrea and I, we're always exchanging bubble bath and bath bombs and that stuff. So I hope you have something fun in there. Happy birthday, Cindy. Bye-bye.